Hunt with passion. Never stop casting. Chase the dream. Welcome to Season 4 of Musky Mastery Outdoors. Brought to you by Joe Bucher Outdoors, #1 in big game fish products.
Hey guys, welcome back to another quick tips video on Season 4 of the Musky Mastery YouTube channel here. Today, I am going to talk to you about one of the most discussed topics in my boat, whether it's guiding, it's sports shows, with family and friends, you name it. How to net muskies successfully while fishing solo is one of the most challenging things that we as musky anglers have to face, again, when we're out musky hunting. So today I just kind of want to walk you guys through my setup and what I do to help put me in a successful position when I'm battling and netting a muskie just by myself. The first thing that I really try to focus on is the net position. This really might vary a little bit depending on what kind of boat you have, but generally speaking, I think the setup should be probably the same or somewhat similar to what I have. And this is what I'm just going to show you. My setup is generally like this. I like to have the bag of the net behind me on the bow or close to the bow. I don't like it on the right, I don't like it on the left. I want it kind of close to the middle with the net handle on the opposite side of where I have my trolling motor foot pedal. So here I am casting on the starboard side here. I've got my foot pedal here. I've got my net bag and my net handle still centered, but offset just to the side of me, okay? And also talk about the bag, the actual net bag. You'll notice something, I don't have the bag like this. The problem with setting it like this is that as I go to pull this, you could get it caught on all sorts of things. So I really try to focus on, and this is really a focus of mine when I am musky fishing solo, is setting the net down in the proper position. Right now, when I go to grab this, it's not going to get snagged in anything. It is ready for me to go after. So I'm going to kind of simulate here a fake fighting scenario here at boat side and how I do go about grabbing this net, okay? Now, with the net discussion here, there's something really important that we need to talk about. And first of all, that's how much line you want to have out when you're going to net a muskie. So I'm going to kind of change storylines here for a second and talk about the reel mechanics and the rod mechanics here. When I'm fighting a fish in, okay? All right, got her. Here she comes. And all right, so I'm going to put a lot of pressure on this fish, close range. I'm keeping my rod down. I'm keeping a tight line. But what are you going to do now? Now I got to go. Now I'm going to go grab this net, right? Talking about mechanics and tactics here on the reel. This is really important. Okay. When I go to any, so this is a golden rule of solo musky netting right here. Anytime I go to touch this net, anytime I touch the net to grab it, move it, you name it, the button is pushed. I am always in free spool mode when I am going to grab this net. So for example, let's say I've got a muskie here and she's going down, she's going left, right. The button is pushed. As I go to grab this net, if this muskie takes off on a run, which happens all the time, all I'm gonna do now is drop the net over the side that I'm fishing, and that muskie is gonna take line under pressure. I'm gonna reel back up, and I'm gonna get that muskie in position, and then I'm pushing the button. Remember, every time I go to grab this net, this button is pushed on this reel, okay? Again, the reason for that, why are we doing that? If the button's not pushed, and you go to grab the muskie net, and the muskie goes for a big run, you're gonna be sitting here going like this, and the muskie's gonna, again, your drag is set so that it is allowed to, give line under heavy pressure, but you don't want to have that kind of resistance on a muskie close range. And as you see here, because you probably are gonna have 1, 2, 3 opportunities to net a fish. A lot of times it's not the first try. A lot of times I get a muskie coming in, and I want to go grab that net. Okay, so I'm gonna go try to scoop her here. And again, you're seeing what I'm talking about right here. You want to have, this is too little a line. You don't want to get yourself in a situation like this, okay? When I'm netting a muskie, again, I've usually got, and that's why I push that button, I've usually got probably 7 to 8 foot of line here so that I can actually, you know, lead the muskie into the net. So, you know, you're gonna have your dominant arm on the net like this, and you're gonna be, you know, giving yourself quite a bit of line out so that you can pull the muskie in. Now, let's say I miss it, okay? Don't freak out. Don't start trying to pull this muskie in and horse it. All you gotta do is set the net down, reel, fight the fish. Again, push the button. Anytime I grab that net, the button's pushed. My net's actually already in position here, and now I can go over here. Now, so that's basically, again, the reason that this works for me is it's very simple here. And I'm gonna show you as I'm gonna kind of get the water off this net here. I'm gonna go through this once more. It's all about positioning of the net, okay? Because this has got to be in a place where you can grab it very easily solo. Another thing I want to show you is that, again, you know, maneuverability. Let's say I'm fighting a fish, and this is my, you know, my dominant casting set over here. I'm casting off starboard. Let's say I fight the fish around the bow, and I'm getting her on this side. You know, what do you do from this side? Well, again, I'm going to have to, you know, get my body in a position. Now that I know the net is here, we go into a, you know, a body positioning thing. Now I'm going to hit the button. I'm going to try to keep tension. I'm probably going to purposely swing the muskie out this way in an effort to now position my body in a way where I can grab this net somewhat like that. And again, you're always trying to, and this is crazy, right? You're always actually trying to figure eight the muskie with your left hand as you're going with your right arm or whatever dominant arm you've got to actually get the net here. So I guess, again, and there's a lot of tips here. I'm just talking what's going through my mind as I'm netting a muskie. I'm trying to figure eight a fish here as I'm going to grab the net, trying to figure eight a fish. I'm trying to keep the line tight. I might have to drop this again. I might have to reel up on this fish. Again, I'm going to hit the button every single time I go to grab this net. Now, check this out. When I'm grabbing this net solo, and it's heavy now that the net is wet, okay? I'm not going to grab it at the far end of the handle. Check this out, guys. I'm grabbing the net up here next to the yoke. I'm putting myself in a position where I have more leverage on this heavy net bag so I can get the thing in position properly. A big thing that I do once I actually kind of will actually keep the net like this during the fight, and once I get the muskie swimming toward me, I will start dropping the net and actually lean back and pull the muskie into the net like that. It's exhausting even talking about this right now because, let's face it, it's very, very, very challenging to do. And then, of course, just a couple other things here. Once you get your muskie in the net, you know, a lot of folks ask, why are these muskie nets so big? This is why. The muskie goes into the net, the muskie stays in the water, you can unhook the fish, you can keep it in the water, it's safe, and then you can pull her out for a couple quick photos or a shot on the GoPro and then back in the drink. Yeah, so again, I think to highlight a couple of my talking points this afternoon, keys to netting a muskie successfully solo. One, positioning of the net in a place in the boat that you can easily access. Two, always hitting the free spool button during the fight. Never grab that net as you're fighting the fish without the button pushed. That allows you a little bit of an insurance policy on if that muskie takes a power run, you're not just going to be hooked up to it with a foot of line out. You're going to let that fish run. You're going to hopefully just keep a tight line and fight it back in. You know, tip number 3, don't be afraid to, if your first attempt doesn't go right, set the net on the side of the boat and fight the fish. Focus on the fight, set the net down. There's a lot of times, especially with big fish, it may take 3 times, may take 4 times to get this fish in position. I think most folks that are watching this video probably know this, but if you don't, always net a muskie head first. Don't go for the tail if you can avoid it. That can be very bad. So you want to net the muskie head first. And I would say, you know, tip number 4 or 5, or probably tip number 100 in this video, as I've kind of talked about a number of things. special thanks to my girlfriend Stephanie Sen for filming this. She's behind the camera, doing an amazing job. You know, I would say it's taking your time solo is really important. I think a lot of folks that I talk to, and you know, there seem to be this general idea of horsing the fish in, got to get it in. And what I've found over the years, and this has saved my butt so many times, is trust that the fish is hooked well. You just, especially until you can see the hooks, trust that it's hooked well and take your time. You know, you don't want to fight the fish too long and exhaust it, but you do when you're fishing solo. You need to try to just keep a tight line and wait till you get a shot at the fish. It's not an easy thing to do, but those are just a few quick tips here today that I wanted to share with you guys on netting muskies solo. So with that said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's a hot topic in my boat over the years, and I hope that at least my discussion and my modeling here has helped you, or at least given you a few ideas for the next time you're out solo muskie fishing. So again, I just want to say thanks to all of the Musky Mastery subscribers. We're a family here. You people, you folks, you amazing people are just, you're amazing. And I can't thank you enough for all your support and love over the years. Please write comments down below if you've got questions on solo netting. If you want to see a second video on this, you want me to go into detail on something else, please tell me. Like, for example, do you keep your net handle extended all the time? Yes. That's one thing I don't want to do when I'm going to net a muskie. Anyway, guys, really hope you enjoyed this quick tip segment. And as always, thanks for watching.
You're watching Season 4 of Musky Mastery Outdoors. Be sure to tune in next week for more exciting and educational musky and multi-species action.